Hey guys, Tim Darnell here. Great to be with you. Thanks for joining me. This is going to be just a short video. I wanted to start off with a scripture I just read that I love it, and I've known this forever, but just happened to be in my reading this morning. It's 2 Timothy 1:7. You probably know this. For God did not give us a spirit of timidity, but a spirit of power, of love, and of self-discipline. So here's one thing, I've been doing a lot of counseling, personal counseling lately, and a lot of people are just deeply hurting. And so I want to offer words of encouragement. My main thing is to tell people, say, you need to trust in Jesus, and trust that he is your creator. He's got a plan for you. Good things are going to happen, and what you're going through now is going to make you stronger. And so anyway, I just wanted to start out with that. Felt convicted in my heart to do that. Most of you know that I've been a musician all my life. My mother was a phenomenal pianist and organist, and just knew music theory real well. And she taught me all of that and got me going, gave me voice lessons when I was a little kid, and it really helped. And went on to have a tremendous career in music, and also have had a wonderful career in business and also in finance and investing. And so today is about the latter, this last thing that's going on. And so one of the most exciting things happening right now that you really need to pay attention to is cryptocurrency. We're going to be getting out of currency that we know of, like dollar bills and coins and that kind of thing. We're going to be out of that very shortly, and it's going to change like crazy. And so these cryptocurrencies come on the market, and there's a lot of them. But if you choose the right ones and you know which ones to pick, these things can be minuscule prices. They can be a fraction of a penny. They can be 20 cents. They can be 30 cents. But those can rise just like Bitcoin did and Ethereum, and rise in price. And so, when you buy something for a penny and it goes to $10, that is a tremendous, and you put $1,000 in something like that, or even $500 or even $100, the multiplication of your money can be tremendous. So I've got several that I really believe, according to my advisors, my investment advisors, and my research combined, are going to be wonderful investments. And you want to get in on those as quickly as you can. So that's part of Darnell Financial, is understanding cryptocurrencies and knowing which ones to pick. And so that's part of it, but that's not the subject of this talk right here. This talk is know when to walk away. And so one of the questions I had when I was really just getting started in investing, and I really didn't know the answer to it until I finally figured it out, was how do you know when to sell a stock or a position that you're in? And let's say that it goes up and it's astronomical, and you're so excited, and you get a double or even a triple. You put $1,000 in and it's worth now $3,000. Well, and you've got a quandary going, because you're wondering, should I go ahead and take that profit now, or should I leave it in? And so there's a lot of answers to that, a lot of ways you can approach this, but I'll give you two different things that you want to think about. And one of those is when you buy a position, if it's reasonable, you need to buy multiple stocks. You need to buy multiple units of it. Don't just buy one. And for instance, if you bought 10 of a particular stock and that thing went up, and all of a sudden you've got a 50% gain on it, 50% gain is phenomenal. And so if you bought 10 shares, what I would do, I would sell 3 of those and take the income and profit from those 3, leave the other 7 in. And it doesn't really matter. I mean, it could be 2 and 8 or 4 and 6, whatever you want to do, but you're taking a portion out, you're locking in a 50% profit there. And so that's a phenomenal thing to do. If it's 100%, absolutely. Go ahead and sell 3 of those and leave the others in and see what happens. And so sometimes a stock can really go on a great run, and 50% would not be good compared to where it would be going like 150%, 200%, 300%. Those things happen, especially in this volatile market that we're experiencing right now. Boy, the fear index is really high and speculation is really high. So the stocks are jumping up and down like crazy. And so you can make real good profit on short-term investments, certainly calls and puts and spreads and those kind of things. If you don't know what those are, don't worry about it. You leave that to different people that know more about that. You don't have to understand it, but those are powerful investment vehicles that you can make a lot of money on quick. And you can also lose a lot of money as well. And so knowing when to get out, it's sort of like gambling. And I was thinking about my music career, and one guy I really admired, and when we were doing extremely well, he was at his peak as well, a guy named Kenny Rogers. And he had a band that sprung him in the beginning called the First Edition, and they were the first psychedelic band. Now think about that. Kenny Rogers is known as a country music singer, and he had one of the first psychedelic bands, so I find that pretty intriguing. He went on to have the hit, You Picked a Fine Time to Leave Me, Lucille, and just a bunch of hits. One was The Gambler, and he's got the chorus of that I just love. He says, you got to know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em, know when to walk away, and know when to run. And so that's pretty fun how that, you got to think about that. That's true in investments and gambling as well. Now, gambling is not like investments for the fact that there's no value there except luck. And so with investments, at least you have companies that you can count on, and you can analyze those companies for many, many different angles and aspects to know whether that's a good investment or not. But anyway, the idea of fragmenting your or putting into different components a particular investment gives you leeway to take a profit at this point, take another profit at this point, take another profit at this point. And so that way you're making profits all the way through. And if you're taking small profits, that's great, man. You think about most investments, if you left something in the bank, you're looking at 1.5% maybe, if you're lucky. And that's pretty unusual. So these 20%, 50%, 100% gains are really doing your financial situation a world of good. Now here's the other thing, the other concept that I want you to get here, and that's called a trailing stop, a trailing stop. So you can work into your investment when you want to get out. And a trailing stop, what that does is it follows a stock all the way up. Let's say a stock was doing really well and it went to 300%, just zoomed to the moon, which, by the way, Zoom is a good investment. We've doubled our money on that. But it zooms to the moon, but then it craters. And so it starts falling like crazy. The stock can go up and down just as quickly as it goes up. And so a trailing stop normally is about 25%. You can do 15%, but 25% is a good number for the fact that a stock can go up to a certain point, but if it starts cratering, the sell trigger, the sell will be triggered, and that sell will happen without you even being there. So if you've got a stock that's, you don't have to sit at your computer and watch that. You don't even have to initiate it. It's automatic, and it happens, and it will save you from losing money. And so that's one of the big things in investment is hang on to your money. Don't, it's great to win, but it's also really bad to lose. So I wanted to talk about, I just showed you an example of a stock that is really doing poorly right now, and that's Hertz Rent-A-Car. Hertz Global is the name of it, HTZ. You do not want that stock, I can tell you that right now. But what happened is it's been around for a long, long time, and people like the company, but they've just been, Uber has put them out of business, and they've just, all the competition and then the COVID thing, and they just slid like crazy. So it went from about $8 a share to right around 50 cents, 60 cents at its low point in June or end of May. And so I've got this diagram here I want to show you. See how it goes down? It goes way sharply down to about 50 cents, and then it sort of goes sideways a little bit. But if you bought right in there, and the reason you would have bought is because there was news that investors were coming in, we're going to prop the stock up, which will give a stock a boost. Okay, so savvy investors know that. So you get that word, you put in an order right there. It could be just a regular straight stock order or a call, which means you're betting on an upward move, and it doesn't have to be a whole lot with a call, and you're paying a whole lot less for the stock, and so you can make a lot of money doing that. And if you caught that spike perfectly, as in this example where it's at about $5.70, I think it was, something like that, that's great. But then reality sets in and people realize, oh my gosh, this thing's going to fall like a brick. And sure enough, that's exactly what it did. So if you bought the stock, and I wouldn't have bought this, I'll just tell you right now, but if you bought the stock and it went up to that peak and you happened to be at your computer and saw it, yes, you could buy at that peak, but that's unusual. You're not going to sit there and watch your computer all day long on any stock. I mean, you just can't do that. So you work in that 25% trailing stop, and what that did, it stopped the slide and sold automatically right at about 275, I think it was. And so what that got you was, instead of what would that have been, about a 550% gain, 5 times gain, it stopped it with when it slid 25% off that peak, and you still ended up with a 275% gain, which is phenomenal. And you protected your assets all at the same time. So trailing stops, you can ask your broker when you do a trade, you can work that in there. It's no extra cost. Your broker will know exactly what to do. If you're doing it yourself like I do, I use TD Ameritrade. If you're doing that, then you can, if you don't know how to do it, you can call customer service and they'll show you exactly how to do it. They do this all day long. They're professionals and they'll help you with that. So trailing stop, that's how you know when to get out. Okay, so you're protecting yourself at the same time, and you can still manage a real good profit, as in this example. And this is one example of, thousands of things. Everything's different. Everything happens differently. But when you know some of these tricks, it's like walking away from the gambling table, from the craps table, and your investments turns to crap sometimes. So anyway, this trailing stop is a great way to do it. Buying multiple shares of a stock is a great way to do it, so that you can win and then win again and then win again on various portions of that stock play. So if that makes sense, give me a call if you'd like to know more about Darnell Financial, and we're helping several individuals. I subscribe to multiple investor publication services that are current, they're timely, they're extremely full-time, wise people that deal with this stuff all the time. I do the same with cryptocurrency as well. If you'd like to know more and you'd like me to help you out, then we'll be glad to do that and talk about that as well. So you'll see my information at the end of this. Thanks for tuning in here. Hope it's made sense, and we will talk soon.